Capitalise AI lets you automate your trading code-free using everyday English. For example, you can type this entry strategy. If your asset's 1 hour RSI crosses above 80, buy $1,000. You can also automate your exit point to make sure you get out at just the right moment. I like to manage my risk using a trailing stop. Did I mention it's completely free? Sign up now to power up your trading with fast, easy, and code-free automation.
Hey traders, and welcome to this Capitalise AI webinar exclusive for ACY traders. Really appreciate you taking some time to be here. Okay, wonderful. So let's go ahead and get straight into it. So what we're going to look at today is Capitalise, and today I'm going to be going through how you can easily automate, backtest, and run your strategies or create your strategies in everyday English and then run them. So if you're an ACY client, you can use Capitalise AI for free. You can just go to acy.capitalise.ai right here. If you don't have an account yet, no problem. You can just sign up for free. Just know that you need to sign up with Capitalise regardless of ACY. So you can come over here, sign up, and then go ahead and log in. And for any new traders here, Capitalise enables traders with or regardless of their coding knowledge or experience to create and automate their trading in freestyle text. So you can create your strategies in everyday English and then backtest them and run them. So the first page we see here when we log in is our live examples page. This is for some inspiration or to see what strategies are working in the market, and I'm going to come back to this in a short while. Just firstly, on the bottom right-hand corner here is our in-app chat. So if you have any questions or you need any help creating strategies or you have issues with strategies, this would be the best place to send us the message. Then on the left-hand menu bar here, you can navigate anywhere and everywhere, including the live examples page. And we'll come back to that in a little while. And we're going to go through all of these today. And the first one we're going to go to is create new strategy. So here, whether you're looking to use fundamental data like an economic calendar, whether you're looking to use technical indicators like an RSI MACD stochastic, or whether you're looking to use price action or levels or volatility, you can even create candlestick patterns on Capitalise. And it's all created on this wizard in everyday English. So the way you think of your strategy is the way you want to type it out. So let's go with something very easy for our first strategy. And we're going to go ahead and look for a 1 minute bar to cross above the upper Bollinger Band. So let's go ahead and say, okay, euro dollar, and now we're going to look at a bar. And anytime you select a bar or an indicator, you can change the parameters on the tooltip above. I'll leave it at 1 bar, 1 minute, and we're looking at the close price. So this is looking at the latest closed bar. And then we're going to go ahead and describe what's happening with it. So we're going to say crosses above, let's say, euro dollar. And again, when you select an indicator, or we're going to go crosses above the upper Bollinger Band, you can change the parameters on the top, and you can mix and match time frames. So we'll use a 1 minute bar crossing over, let's say, a 15-minute upper Bollinger Band. And there's our first condition, and you can use as many conditions as you want in a strategy. But for our first one, let's go ahead, we'll leave it at 1, and we can go ahead and say, then let's buy 1 lot, so 100,000 euro dollar. Anytime you select an asset on the wizard, you have a link down here, TradingView, where you can add indicators, adjust time frames, and obviously have a reference to the price. So let's go ahead here and click next. Notice at the top, the timeline highlights an exit. Feel free to move back if you need to. And just like your entry, you can close the position with anything, including a take profit, a stop loss, a trailing stop, or a trailing take profit. For our first one, though, let's go ahead and do something really simple. Let's look to get out when the price crosses below the middle Bollinger Band. So we won't use a bar, we'll just use the price. So we'll say close position if EUR, oh, let me get my syntax right here first. If EUR USD, let's say crosses below the lower Bollinger Band. And again, we're going to add our parameters in the tooltip. I'm going to keep the same time period on the Bollinger Bands that we use in the entry. You don't have to though. And then we can go ahead and we'll leave it at that one condition. Then we can go ahead and click next. And that's all there is to creating your strategy. 2 pages. Here on the confirmation page, you can run your strategy in loop. Each strategy runs on a cycle, an entry and exit. And if you run it once off, it'll enter once, it'll exit once, and it'll stop. In loop, every time it finishes one cycle, it's going to start another cycle and another cycle, indefinite. However, it doesn't have to be indefinite. You can put a hit limit. So you may want a strategy to run in loop, but you may only want it to take, let's say, 100 trades. You can go ahead and put in your there. You can also have a total stop loss for the strategy. Worth mentioning now, you can have an individual loss in each trade in the exit condition. We'll get into that in our next strategy. And then here you can name your strategy. And if you don't want to name it, we'll give it a name. And then below here, you have your exit conditions. You have, your entry conditions, your exit conditions. We have our entry action. It's always defaulted to market, but you can use limit orders as well. I'll show you where you can find those. And then below here, we have our full trading solution. So here we can back test the strategy, which is obviously going to test it ex post on historical data. You have 2 buttons here. You have the default back test button, which will test the strategy for 90 days, basically 3 months. Or you can time adjust the back test. So you may want to run, a strategy, but you may only want to see how it performed, let's say in the last week. So you could use the calendar for that. Then here you can simulate the strategy, which is very similar to paper trading. So it's going to show you the trades on Capitalise, but it's not going to touch your live account. And then you have run live. So anytime your conditions are met, it's going to open and close trades on your trading account. So for our first strategy here, we're going to go ahead and back test this, and we'll back test it on the default. So we're going to back test it for 90 days. Generally with back testing, it should start within a couple of seconds after clicking on the back test button, and depending on the amount of hits your strategy has will determine the amounts it needs to run for. Obviously, if your strategy has 100 hits or 100 trades, it should finish within a minute or two. If it has 1,000 trades, it could take a little bit longer than that. Just so you know, our back test here uses 1 minute historical data. So we look at the open, high, low, and close of each minute bar. We run the strategy through that. It's obviously a little bit different compared to our live and our simulation strategies, which is using live tick data, updated multiple times per second. Okay, let's go have a look at our page at the moment. And we can see here are the dates that we're testing for. You can rename your strategy here if you want to. You can see here the back test is on 4%. A problem here. It must be my connection. Let me just refresh this page because it should have run a little bit more than 4% there. I can't believe a strategy like this is going to have 1,000 hits, maybe in the hundreds of hits, but most certainly not in the thousands. Okay, let's reset it there, and we'll go ahead. And guys, you're keeping really quiet, so if you have any questions while I'm going through this, just a reminder to put it on the chat. Okay, so let's get this back up and running. It does seem to be an issue here. Let me just... Yeah, it should have finished by now because it won't have that many. I can already see that I went for a buy. I actually wanted to go for a sell because I was crossing the upper Bollinger Band. We're actually going to try run it with a sell afterwards, and we'll see what we get. But let's just finish off this strategy very quickly. Okay, there we are. So we've completed the run of the strategy. It did come out negative, which we probably were expecting because we were buying every time it was moving up, above the upper Bollinger Band. I actually wanted to sell here, but it's okay, not a problem. Let's go ahead and look at what we've got in this strategy. So here we have 116 hits, basically 116 trades. And our total P&L is minus 6%. This is, not great for us, obviously. Here we have a hit limit. The hit limit is more relevant to live and simulation strategies, and I'll get to that in our next one. Here you can run live, and this is our control panel. So here you can run live, you can edit the backtest, you can clone, rerun, and get a shareable link. And just to go through this page really quickly, because if you get this page, the live and the sim are going to look very similar. So here we have our entry that we typed out. We have our exit. This is our hit chart here, and this represents every trade that would have been taken in the last 90 days had you employed this strategy in the past. If you move your mouse pointer over one of them, we can see some information. For example, this is hit 111. It returned 1%. The P&L was 1,056 on it. You can also see the lowest and the highest point the trade reached in terms of min and max P&L. Now, if you want to see some more information like execution price, time, and so on, you can find all that information on the right-hand notification panel. This contains every trade, and every trade has two cards. One exit, always at the top, one entry at the bottom. So if we scroll down, we're going to see hit 111's exit there, and the entry is just below that. So we can see that a strategy like this would have entered on the 23rd of May at 1:18 a.m., executing at 1:05,743. It would have exited roughly a day later on the 24th of May at an execution price of 1.06799. And then below here, we have our win-loss ratio. We had 29 winning hits, each at $344.93. And we had 86 losing hits at 191 each. Some of you may notice here we have 115 hits in total on our win-loss ratio, and we have 116 in total. The reason for this, and you will see this happen on backtest, is the last hit hasn't closed. The last hit would have entered on the 27th of May, and it would still be open at the moment. Wonderful. So, traders, let's go ahead and let's say we want to run this strategy again, okay? Because we went for a buy here, but we actually want to see what a sell comes out of, because if it's crossing above the upper, we want to sell. So I'm going to go ahead to our control panel here, and I'm going to go to clone. Now, clone is a simple copy and paste. It's not going to do anything to the strategy we just created. It's simply going to bring the strategy up onto the wizard so we don't have to type it out again. Worth noting, any word that appears in bold can be changed at a click of a mouse. So buy can be changed to sell. And that's all we want to do. We want to keep it the same, so we can go ahead and click next and click next. And let's go ahead and backtest this one, and then we're going to get moving on to some simulation and live. So it's quite easy for you to take a strategy and clone it and run it over another asset, or change the action in it. Yeah, we'll come. Let's let this run. We don't have to waste time on this, and we're going to go ahead and create a live and a simulation strategy from this. So let's say we like a strategy like this, and we want to go ahead and now run it live or simulate it. We can go ahead to our control panel here. And while it's running, we don't have to stay on the page. We can go ahead and select clone. Clone is a simple copy and paste. It's not going to do anything to the strategy that we just created. That will still run. And I'm going to go ahead, because I want to keep it the same, I'm going to go ahead and click next, and I'm going to go ahead and simulate. Now, the simulation pages and the live pages all look similar, exactly the same. The only difference is simulation is in yellow header and the real is in white. So here you can edit your strategy. You have some info. For example, it's live. It's in loop. So every time it finishes one cycle, it's going to start another cycle. We have 0 hits. The P&L is 0. And here we have a hit limit. So you may like a strategy like this, but you may not want to, let's say, have it take more than 100 trades. You could put it in there. Then we have a total stop loss for the strategy. So you can have an individual loss in each exit and a total stop loss. You can say, you know, if this strategy gets to minus 350, then just stop it. Excuse me. Then here is your control panel. Here you can stop, you can edit, clone, and run live. Just to go through this page, our entries there, our exits, our notification panel, our win-loss ratio, and our hit chart are yet to populate. But the moment you start seeing data, the moment our condition is met and trade triggers on Capitalise, you're going to see data flowing through here. With the other difference being the widget. So this widget is monitoring the current hit. You can see it's working on entry. We only have one condition. We're looking for a 1-minute bar to cross above the upper Bollinger Band. The needle is the bar, the line is the upper Bollinger Band, and the moment the needle crosses above the line, it's going to trigger a trade. Okay, wonderful traders. Let's go ahead now to our next section, and that's browse examples. So this is for some inspiration, or if you want to see what strategies are working in the market, this would be the best place to have a look at it. And the easiest way to work this is either go by Forex or commodity or crypto. You can tag, if you like, certain assets or indicators, and you can sort by everything from the best returning down to the hit count. So let's go have a look at, okay, let's look at this one here. This is on CAD yen. It's waiting for an oversold on the RSI, so it's moving below 30. You can see here, this is the performance for the last 30 days. Had it's had 3 trades in total, 100% win ratio, so it's 1 every trade, 2.72%. Now you can go ahead and view the performance. And viewing the performance, as you can see, looks like a live or a simulation page. That's because it's running live. And the moment you can see all the info, and if you like a strategy like this and you want to use it, you can just go ahead and use as a template, which is a simple copy and paste, so you don't have to type out the strategy again. It's going to come up onto the wizard. You can adjust any word that appears in bold. And you can go ahead and click next, and decide whether you want to back test it for more data or simulate it or run live. And I'm going to go ahead and simulate this. And there we are, it's running. So traders, we've created now 4 strategies, and I want to go ahead and look how these strategies are running at the moment. So I'm going to go to the My Strategy page. This is where you can find all of your strategies, all of your live, your sim, your stop, and your back test. And you can see here, these are the 2 simulation we created this morning. It's at the top. You can control them on the control panel here. You can also click into the strategy page anywhere on the bar. We then have our stops, and we then have our back test. So, oh, this is actually perfect. So this actually came back obviously much better than the first one we ran because we were looking to sell. So let's quickly go in and check out how this strategy came through. That looks much better. So this is maybe something we'd want to simulate. We are already simulating. And then, if the simulation is working as the back test suggests, after a couple of days, you can feel confident to go live with the strategy. Okay, wonderful. Before we get moving on to some other strategies and what you can do with Capitalise, some other features that you can do with Capitalise, I just want to take care of some housekeeping very quickly. So, here is our support page. This is the first place to check for anything you're not sure about that you're looking for. For example, if you're looking to create candlestick patterns, go ahead and type it in. You'll get some articles here, and most of these articles will have exact examples and walkthroughs of how to label the bars, how to even just set up a pattern that perhaps looks like that. And again, if you're looking for something specific that you can't find, you can always get us here on the in-app chat and just send us a message. Then On the left-hand menu bar, you can also adjust your settings here. So here you can have the time zone you want to be in. You can enable your 2FA, and you can also set up notifications. You'll see my notifications are off. It's purely personal. I just prefer to get my notifications on the mobile app. So you guys, if you prefer that, you can download our mobile app, have full functionality that our web interface has, and get notifications there as well. Alternatively, if you prefer email or desktop, you can turn them on in your settings. Then also here you can connect your trading account. Mine's connected, but if yours is not, you can just connect your trading account through the Connect Trading Account link here. Okay, wonderful. Let's get moving here, traders. I'm going to go back to create new strategy, and I want to go through a few things that you can do with Capitalise. The first thing you can, or something else you can do with Capitalise is you don't only have to buy or sell. Okay, you can use notify me strategies. So you can go ahead and start or end any strategy off with notify me. Let's go ahead and use some fundamentals. Let's go, okay, notify me if the job numbers in the US, the results are, let's say, above forecast. Let's say by at least 30%. And let's say if EUR USD, let's say previous month change, and we put that in there, yeah. I'm gonna go with the previous month because NFP is usually the first Friday, right? So let's say if the previous month change is positive, and if EUR USD is above the previous month low. And if these conditions are met, you'll be notified of it via email. And again, you can put as many conditions as you want. With any notify me strategy, you don't have to, they don't require an exit. You can just go ahead and run it. Great. Something else you can also do is you can use time and force. So you can start any strategy off with after, before, between, or except between. So let's say you like a strategy, but you only want it to run during certain times. So let's say, okay, between 10 and let's say 8. Let's go with Aussie time here. So let's go with Aussie Eastern time. Let's say if the AUD USD, well, let's just go with something else. Let's go with the MACD. And we'll go here with a 1 hour. Let's say crosses above the signal line. Then let's buy 0.1 lot of AUD USD. And only if this condition is met within these hours is it going to trigger. If it's met outside of these hours, it's not going to trigger. And in the same token, you can close the position with a time and force. You may want to close the position, let's say if profit per unit of AUD USD is 40 pips, or if loss per unit of AUD USD is, let's say, 40 pips again, or let's say at 2200 Oz Eastern time. So whichever one of these conditions is met, whether it's the profit or the loss or the time, is going to close the position. Then you don't only have to think of Capitalise as algorithmic trading. You can also look at it as just a way to automate your entry or exit out of a position. So you could go ahead and say, let's say you're holding a position of, let's say you're on Eurodollar, and let's say you're holding a position of 1 lot. You got in, let's say, at 1.073, and you're waiting to get to 0.75. You could come to Capital and say, okay, if Eurodollar crosses, and this is really simple, you can make them as complicated as you want, but let's say if it crosses above 1.0, let's go for 1.075. We bought at 1.073. Then sell my 1 lot. then sell 1 lot of EUR USD. And here you can skip the exit. So if you run this live, it's going to monitor the market. The moment this condition is met, it's going to sell your 1 lot of euro dollar. Then something else that you can do as well is you can use DCA, which is dollar cost averaging. So there may be something that happens in the market, and perhaps at that point you want to start scaling into a trade. You can do that with Capitalise. So let's say, for example, let's start off with, let's say, 20 minutes, let's say after entry starts. And then let's go for USD CAD. Let's just go for a short moving average crossing over a longer moving average. So we're going to go with, let's go with, just for this example, a 9, and I'll go with a 1 day. Because I'm using a day, the moment this condition is met for this day moving average, it's going to stay met for a whole day. So if you're using a 5-minute moving average and that condition is met, it can only be met for 5 minutes before it's not met, and then it will wait until it's met again. So here it's going to be met for the whole day. So you may want to scale in once, let's say, the 9 moving average crosses above USD CAD moving average. Let's go with a longer one. I'm not going to think too much. I'll just go with a 21 day. So the moment the 9-day crosses above the 21 day, it's met for the whole day. And you may want to scale into a trade with US dollar, Canadian dollar for that whole day. Let's say every 20 minutes you want to get in, and let's say, then let's just buy 0.01. So a micro lot of USD CAD. Okay. And then we can go ahead and click next. We're going to skip the exit because we're just scaling in with this strategy. We can go ahead and click next. And here, we're going to want to run it in loop. So every 20 minutes, when this condition is met, we're going to want to scale in with 0.01 lots. And let's say that we want to take, for that whole day, we could only take, let's say, around, there's 3 trades per hour. The condition is met for 24 hours. So we're looking at about 72 trades is the max this could possibly take when this condition is met. Let's say we only want to take the first 50 trades of that. We want to scale in. So I'll put the hit limit there, and then you could go ahead and run live if you want to. And that's a great way for you traders to scale in and scale out of positions. Okay, wonderful. So traders, I think I've gone through most of what I wanted to give you, a footing on how to use Capitalise, how you can create strategies, what you can do, and so on. So I want to open it up to some questions. Do you guys have any questions or specific strategies you'd perhaps like me to go over? Please open up the chat box now and feel free to pop it into the chat. Okay, guys, I don't see any questions coming through, so I take it that you're okay and you're ready to go. I just want to mention a few things here that when you join Capitalise, you get a link to our Discord channel. So feel free to check it out. You can see what other traders are doing with their strategies. A lot are sharing strategies or having market discussions and so on. And if you're wondering where you can find this link, you can find it in our Learning Center here, where you have a link to our community. As well, traders, we do have obviously our articles that we have been through on our support page, but if you prefer to watch videos, you can most certainly check out our YouTube channel. We have tons of videos up there. So for example, if you're looking to let's say automate candlestick patterns or optimize different types of strategies, you can have a look here. Daryl, let's see, you're asking to show the result of the back test. I take it you're asking for the back test that actually came out good, the sell one. And here it is here. This is our sell strategy here, and these are the results that you're looking at. And if you guys are interested in using a strategy like this, I'm going to go ahead and share this link onto the chat box now. And if you want to run a strategy like this, you could just go ahead and copy the link I've just pasted to everybody, and just copy it, paste it into. So basically, what it's going to look like is when you copy it, you'll open it up here. And it's going to bring the exact same strategy up onto the wizard, and you can go ahead and change it around or backtest it later or run it live. I'll just wait for this to bring it up onto the wizard, and this is exactly what you'll see when you get a shareable link. It'll bring the exact same strategy up, and you can go ahead and backtest, simulate, or run it live. Okay, traders, so I see there's no more questions coming through. If you traders have any more questions, you can always get us here on the in-app chat. You can chat with us, as well as if you've got questions throughout and perhaps you want to have a chat, you can always join my demo sessions run every day where we go through the platform and we take questions afterwards. It's done on Zoom, so it's a bit more interactive, so please feel free to join when you can. And thanks, traders. This has been great, and have a great week ahead. Good luck with trading. Whatever you're doing, stay safe. From myself and the team here at Capitalise, thanks so much for joining, and have a great day ahead.